Yeah, why do I even sit down? See you later. Let's do some more reading. Chapter 28. Bradley lay on his bed on his stomach. He chewed the end of his pencil as he looked hopelessly at the arithmetic book, open in front of him. Next to the book was a piece of paper. In the upper right-hand corner, he had written, I'm going to show you this heading here real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's got his nice heading there. Bradley Sachar's homework, arithmetic, page 43, Red Hill School, room 12, Mrs. Ebel's class, last seat, last row, black eye. That's quite the heading. His handwriting, which was messy anyhow, was made worse by the fact that he had wrote with a dull pencil on top of a soft bed. Ooh, we know that doesn't work well. He had stayed in Mrs. Ebel's class as long as he could after the bell. Bradley, it's time to go home, Mrs. Ebel finally said to him. He looked outside, unsure if Jeff and his gang of bullies were waiting for him. I have a question, he said. Mrs. Ebel eyed him suspiciously. What kind of question? He had to figure out what kind of question. An asking question? I see. May I ask it? Okay, she said reluctantly. He asked his question. What page is homework on? The homework? Page 43. He wrote 43 on the top of his sneaker so he wouldn't forget. Then took his arithmetic book and stepped outside. Jeff and his friends were playing basketball. He ran home. Now he looked hopelessly at page 43, shook his head and sighed. Question 1. What is 3/4 of 2/3? It was the most impossible question he had ever seen. His mind wandered. Hey, Bradley, what you doing? Asked Ronnie. Homework. What's homework? She asked. It's work you do at home. Is that supposed to be funny? No, really. That's what they do at school. That dog. Excuse me. Okay, where were we at? Hopefully that dog will be quiet now. Oh, Ronnie said she'd never seen Bradley doing homework before. Now, who are you doing it for? Ronnie asked. I'm doing it for Carla. Now leave me alone so I can concentrate. What is 3/4 of 2/3? Why are you doing it for Carla? Okay, I'll tell you. You can't tell anyone, Bradley said. Ronnie promised not to tell. We're in love, he said. Really? How do you know? She kissed me. Oh, that means she loves you. Are you going to marry her? Maybe when I'm older. First, I have to do my homework. I'm going to marry Bartholomew, said Ronnie. Oh, I know. Now let me get to work. What are 3/4 of 2/3? Well, hey, Bradley, what's going on? Asked Bartholomew. Leave him alone. He's trying to do his homework. He can't concentrate when you're talking to him. Well, maybe I can help. What's the problem? What is 3/4 of 2/3? 3/4 of 2/3. That's a tough one. Let's see. You divide 4 into... No. You multiply 2 times... No. Means you divide, man, said the donkey. Take half of something, it means you divide by 2. You divide by 3 and 4 and 5 or whatever. Bradley started to write that down. No, of means times. You have to multiply everything. First, you have to reverse the nominators, said the fox. You don't reverse, you inverse, said the cocker spaniel. You find the common denominator. That's for multiplication, not for division or addition. Wait, multiplication is the same as addition, only faster. Wait, you cancel out all the 3s. You always cancel out all the 3s. You multiply the 3s, said the lion. Bradley kept erasing and rewriting and erasing and rewriting until there was nothing but a big black smudge on his paper. Finally, he tried to write 3 times 3 equals 9, but then he tore a hole through his paper. The answer can't be 9. If you're dealing with fractions, you have to end with fractions. Bradley slammed the book shut. None of you know what you're talking about. And then he walked down the hall downstairs. Sat down next to his mom, and he sighed. She looked at him inquisitively. I can't figure out my homework. Can you please help me? His mother smiled. I'd be delighted. Let me see. Okay, let's make a clean space. Go get a clean sheet of paper. I don't have any more paper. This is all I brought home. Well, there's some paper in your father's desk. Get a sharp pencil, too. He looked at her in disbelief. He wasn't allowed to touch anything on his father's desk. She nodded. Bradley felt a little scared as he walked into the extra bedroom which his father used as an office. He opened the top drawer of the old oak desk and carefully took out a pencil and a piece of paper. He shut the drawer, looking around, then hurried back to his mom. She smiled at him. He sat down and wrote, much neater this time, his whole heading. Bradley Sachar's homework. Arithmetic. Page 43. Red Hill School. Room 12. Mrs. Ebel's class. Last seat, last row, black eye. You have to put all that, he explained, in case it gets lost. She read the first questions. What is 3/4 of 2/3? He shrugged. Okay, first thing you do is write the equation. He still didn't know what to do. She wrote it for him. 3/4 times 2/3 equals what? Whenever you see the word of, it means you multiply. Of means times, he said. Right, she said. That was what the lion had said. Now you can cancel out the 3's. That was what the kangaroo had said. You always cancel out the 3's. Neither of them noticed that Claudia was standing behind them, watching. That's how you're supposed to learn it. That's not what you're doing it right, though. You're doing it wrong, she said. Bradley turned around and glared at her. You have to explain why you cancel them out, and they don't call it canceling. It's called dividing by 1. It's just, I just know the way I learned it, said Mrs. Chalkers. Maybe that's familiar for some of us parents. If you want, I can show you, Bradley, said Claudia. He looked at his mother, then back at Claudia, then at his mother. She knows the way they're teaching it now, his mother said. You'll help me? Sure, why not? I got nothing better to do. Mrs. Chalkers stood up and Claudia took her place. Don't do it for him, said Bradley's mother. Make sure he knows how to do it. Claudia worked patiently with him for the rest of the afternoon. He understood it, and it was pretty fantastic. By dinner time, they were a little more than halfway through. Now, Bradley wanted Claudia to help him after dinner too, but she had her own homework to do. You know how to do it. You can do it yourself, she said. I need help. I'll help you, said his father. You will? Let's go to my office. We can work at my desk. Bradley could not believe it. They worked together. Bradley was surprised by how much his father actually knew. He made all the hard parts seem easy. Bradley was a little disappointed by how quickly they finished. He had liked working with his father. He brought his finished homework back to his room. Oh, I get it, Bradley, said Bartholomew. You multiply the numerators and the denominators separately, but I still don't understand reducing. It's easy, said Bradley. Here, let me show you again. Let's get back to it. Chapter 29. Bradley was too excited to sleep. Mrs. Ebel will be so surprised. She'll tell the whole class. Only one person got 100%. Bradley! But there were so many things that still could go wrong. What if I lose it on the way to school? What if Jeff and his friends steal it? Twice during the night, he got up out of his bed to make sure it was still folded and neatly in his backpack. What if I did the wrong page? He was no longer sure whether Mrs. Ebel had said 43 or 62. He tried to remember exactly what she had said. He sat up in horror. She never said it was arithmetic homework. Mrs. Ebel just said the page number. She never said what book. She could have meant history or language or any of the other books. He lay back down and trembled. And tears wet his pillow. Is Bradley starting to evolve as a character? He got out of bed the next morning, checked if his homework was still there, quickly got ready, ate breakfast, and left for school. On the way, he stopped to make sure he still had his homework. As he opened his book, the paper fell onto the sidewalk right next to a puddle of water. He stared at it, horrified by what almost had happened, then quickly picked it up and placed it in his book again. He held the book tightly shut the rest of the way to school. He was one of the first ones there. He had to wait for the doors to open. He kept on the lookout for Jeff and his gang. He stood with his back to the school wall so they couldn't sneak up behind him. He saw Andy. He thought Andy had seen him too. But if he had, he didn't do anything about it. When the doors opened, he was the first one in Mrs. Ebel's class. He sat at his desk, last seat, last row, and waited. As the other kids came in, he saw them put sheets of paper on Mrs. Ebel's desk. He wondered if that was their homework. He now had a new worry. He didn't know how he was supposed to turn in his homework. Jeff entered, placed a piece of paper on the pile on the top of Mrs. Ebel's desk, then came toward the back of the room. It must be his homework. What else could it be? Shawnee, he said aloud. The girl who sat in front of Jeff turned around. Are you supposed to put your homework on Mrs. Ebel's desk? Don't tell me what to do, Bradley, Shawnee snapped. You worry about your homework and I'll worry about mine, okay? And she turned back around. It was almost time for school to start. What if I have to put it on her desk before the bell rings or it doesn't count? He fumbled through the book for his homework, stood up, then headed for Mrs. Ebel's desk. He became more nervous with each step he took. His mouth was dry, and he had trouble breathing. He could hardly see where he was going. He felt like he was going to faint. Mrs. Ebble's desk seemed so far away. It was like he was looking at it through the wrong end of a telescope. His heart was pounding. His homework rattled in his hand. Somehow he made it to her desk and tried to focus on the sheets of paper. It looked like arithmetic homework, page 43. Yes. But instead of feeling better, he felt worse, like he was going to explode. Do you want something, Bradley? Asked Mrs. Ebble. He looked at his homework, shaking his head. Then he tore it in half and dropped it in the waste paper basket next to Mrs. Ebble's desk. He instantly felt better. His head cleared and his breathing returned to normal. His heart stopped pounding. He walked back to his desk, took a deep breath in, exhaled, and sat down. He folded his arms on his desktop and lay his head down sideways across them. He felt sad, but relieved as he gazed at the gold stars. Why would he do that? He worked so hard. Hopefully I'll be back. Back again. Interrupted again. Once again. Always again. I guess Eleanor's fashion tip for today is this. If you are wearing gold pants, you're wearing them. If you're not, you're not. And let's see if we can get her face to do something. Here, Eleanor, look. What is that? Sophie. Baby tricks. She's learning some cool tricks. Okay, hopefully next time I'll be able to reach you guys. Have a good day.